Hello everyone, welcome to Preterist Papers. My name is Patricia and this is the 45th paper in this series and it's titled The Biblical Answer to Tyranny. You can find this printable 2-page fact sheet at preteristpapers.com. In Romans 13, Paul's exhortation to be subject to authorities has been misinterpreted to teach passive obedience to dictatorial rule. While the Bible teaches nonviolence and prayer for our enemies, it does not teach indiscriminate, mindless obedience to tyranny. Quite the opposite. The higher authorities Paul referenced in Romans 13 were a terror to evil and favorable to good. It appears Paul had in mind Roman law and Roman officials as protective of the peace and a terror to bad conduct. Roman order was in contrast to atrocities perpetuated against Christians by the first-century Jerusalem-led local government. The apostles lived during the Pax Romana, or Roman peace, which conferred a high measure of tranquility, order, and security through Roman law. Not without its flaws by any means, but it gave a remarkable stability to life. Paul's Jerusalem temple visit in number 1 of our fact sheet and his several near-death occurrences within a few days showcased the protective power of Roman law and order. In Acts 21, instigators made false accusations against Paul, and immediately a mob seized him with the intent to kill. When the Roman official tried to have Paul removed, soldiers had to physically carry him for his safety, while the mob called for his death. After Paul tried to reason with the crowd, they again erupted in an uproar, calling for his death and prepared to stone him. Paul was, fortunately, in Roman custody. The next day, the Roman official provided for Paul to meet his accusers, but yet again soldiers had to whisk him away because the official was afraid Paul would be torn to pieces by the unruly council. The following day, more than 40 Jews, in collusion with Jerusalem authorities, devised a plan to assassinate Paul. When the Roman tribune was informed of the conspiracy, he quickly assembled an extensive military escort to take Paul out of reach of the plotters. So, within the space of just a few days, Paul was protected from death multiple times by a Roman official attentive to law and order and protective of peace. In number 2 on our fact sheet, we will see how the apostles responded to tyrannical rule in Jerusalem. Peter and the other apostles were arrested and imprisoned for healing a man and spreading the good news of Messiah. Upon being interrogated, Peter did not lose any time to accuse the nation's leaders of murder and opposing God. The apostles were not hesitant to speak the truth. The tyrants were shaken by their moral authority, but continued to try to censor them anyway. The apostles told them their conscience would not allow them to go along with their orders. They obeyed a higher authority. When brought before the Jerusalem authorities yet again, the apostles were still bold, saying they would not obey the officials, whatever they threatened or did. The attempt to intimidate, censor, and cancel the apostles did not change their behavior. They simply disobeyed immoral mandates. But besides the apostles refusing to follow the directives of tyrants, we have plenty of other examples in the Bible of courageous opposition to despotic powers. In number 3 on the fact sheet, we see the Egyptian midwives defying Pharaoh's orders and lying to him. Rahab not only lied and disobeyed the direct orders of the king, but she also helped plan and carry out the spies' escape. Jael killed the right-hand man of King Jabin, an ally of her husband. Israelite soldiers rose up against King Saul to protect Jonathan from a capricious mandate by the king. Obadiah hid 100 prophets in deliberate defiance of Queen Jezebel. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused very publicly to comply with King Nebuchadnezzar's orders. Daniel did not follow the declaration of the king and made sure everyone could see his noncompliance. Jesus drove out the money changers from the temple and disrupted their business. In Revelation 13, the godly believers refused to bow to the image of the beast. As we see from our study, not only does Scripture not teach subservient obedience to despots, but courageous action was often demanded for righteousness' sake. In Revelation 21, we read a sobering warning. Cowards are counted among the faithless, murderers, sorcerers, and liars, and their lot was the lake of fire. We choose every day whom we will serve. Thank you for listening. This content departs somewhat from our preterist theme, but we believe it's needed for our time. Shalom.